the lost children in the caves, about their new mythology, about the devastation of this world, how they survived, how they created their own God and strove for immortality. But there were enemies. This is that story.
The Hun on the ground came down. They are not one of us. Kill every last one, starting with the women and their children.
They are not like us. They live another way.
It's not what we know. Heathen, they must all go. We cannot tolerate their sinfulness. Look up on the hill.
See them planning your demise. They wanna take what you own, steal it for themselves. They wanna plan your end, your end, your end. You'll never get out of town fast enough. Cut you down where you stand.
Greetings in the name of the Most High. How art thou? You're going through another doppelganger. And by the way, this is nothing compared to 1967. I just hope you, or the Great Depression or World War II. But let's get into it. Let me explain what I mean by that. I would say that the height of the satanic assaults on America came in 1967, as led by the Satan's CIA and Satan's America against the people to turn them away from God, because it's very, very concerning. And let me explain what I mean and show you how cunning. You have no idea how cunning your enemy is. You have no idea. You have no fucking idea how many layers to your existence there are that can be messed with and brought into confusion, to where a lot of us live in a state of confusion. I mean, sometimes I think I have an idea, and yet, damn it, I get hoodwinked again. And because we don't, and we cannot see in open dimensional beyond time and space, but they can, and they operate that way. And a lot of you that come from have graduated from your gang stalking will realize that that's just a microcosm, a little drop in the bucket of what they can do. And that's called interdimensional warfare. Now, just to sum up what I've said, I had a dream. I've been having nightmares every night because I mean, oh, they're awesome, but they're epic, and so I know that I know that I don't die. So that's one thing. That I continue to become the kind of warrior that kills stuff. We don't need to go into that. Almost sounds like a comic book hero. Not quite. Anyway, so in the 60s, the saturation of the just the energy involved was undeniable, and it's destroyed Christianity. It destroyed most Christians, I would say, or destroyed completely. It destroyed pretty much all families in America. It affected everything from manners, table manners, decorum, dating, what dating means, which before Satanica arrived, dating was did not mean having sex with whoever you deemed pretty or whatever. Okay, far from it. Far from it. I mean, yes, of course, people engaged in all these things, but it wasn't like that, where it became a requirement. Dating children, rearing children, and the abuse of children, and the amplification of child trafficking, and basically the amplification and the delineation and the presentation of the global initiation. So what one must do to live, to survive this, is to sell one's soul, and then they'll let you have a little life until on cue, bing, it's your time to die. Die, motherfucker. Because we don't care about you. Nobody cared about you on day one. And they're not going to care about you when you're some feeble old crumpled up thing in the corner that no one can communicate with. It only gets worse from here. And it will continue to get worse until people begin to acknowledge what happened. We're never allowed in this society since the Satanic invasion. We are never allowed to acknowledge what happened to us. Just take 9/11. I mean, that's just one gross example. No, not allowed to find out what happened to you. Not allowed to go and get our PTSD checked out by a fair-minded psychiatrist, maybe who's rooted in faith, who can help you to unravel something like, a terror attack, a murder in your family, a loss of a loved one, whatever it is. We're not allowed to. We only are allowed to go function again, to get well enough to function again, to function, to not change one iota about the society, to not criticize it. And certainly, numero uno, the big cardinal sin that I did, okay? So when you see me getting my ass kicked, don't laugh. Unless you want to take credit for it and then get yourself killed. I mean, that's on you, though. It's not on me. It's not what I want for you. But, the line is the line. And, the intolerance level of this world is such that, anybody mentions what happened. Well, this is what happened to me. Okay, that's it. Pull the plug. This is what happened on 9/11. Okay, pull the plug. This is what happened at Waco. Okay, pull the plug. This is what happened in Vietnam. Okay, pull the plug. This is what happened on any given day in the Senate. Okay, pull the plug. This is what happened with Epstein. I just want to tell you, here's some witnesses. Oh, they all disappeared. Pull the plug. So no one is ever allowed to deal with their trauma. And when you do not let people deal with their trauma, they get sick. And so we have a sick society today. We don't have a healthy society that can, like, as some talk show host suggest, they can just wake up and, go out and make a difference against this big beast. No, they can't. Not one person can. The only way it gets done at all for your life is through the grace of God and the power of God and the power of the Spirit thereof. And if you don't even know that exists, then well, what do you expect? Welcome to hell. Enjoy the ride. The music, the drugs, the AMA, the schools, the histories, everything was changed in the 60s. The idea of anti-art versus art, ugly is beautiful, the opposites, good is bad and bad is good, all those things were completely established by 1968. And that the only people that were really prospering in any way, shape, or form were people who embraced it. So they would go around to, all the basically young people, kids, and say, here are your choices. What are you going to do? Either, there's only one choice. It's really not a choice. It's a demand. You either comply with the demand or you basically go to hell in real time on earth. And that's where you're targeting, gang stalking, all that comes from that. The levels of attack are very multidimensional. For example, now see if you can make sense of this. I'm going to try to recount my dream from last night. It's very, very interesting. Somehow I'm having to do something on video, like an appearance or some kind of homage to classical devices like VHS players, old school 90, whatever, for Chris Gore and Alan No, who are comprised, they're the Film Threat magazine for indie films. And I was in a restaurant, I was sitting at a table, and James Comey was sitting in the corner. Now, I didn't say it wouldn't be entertaining. It will be, it is entertaining. And I just want to show you the multidimensional. I want to show you why you can't beat this. Oh no. Oh, he has such great discernment. No, he doesn't have great discernment. I'm trying to keep my temper. No, just somebody that, I don't worry about these guys. They've got great discernment. No, we don't have great discernment. Not the kind you're talking about. They can suss this out. So then there's a little, on the way out of the restaurant, there's this little church thing. It's kind of like a church. It's like this little enclave, like a little rail, and there's a bar that goes in, and it's got candles on there. And that's where you go to confess your belief in Jesus Christ. And there was this woman there that apparently I had led there some many hundreds and thousands of years ago, I guess. And as I tried to lead her into that little bracket thing to go with the Lord, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. And it looked like someone like her daughter was standing by crying. And then the next thing I know, they've disappeared. And I'm like, what am I then? What is this? What am I? How did I get, all that? And then Comey starts questioning me when I go back to my seat in the restaurant. And he said, he started asking me questions about Chris Gore and Alan, no, he started saying, well, just what are you supposed to be doing here with these guys? And I know that from another angle of things, what he's really asking is, what he really wants to know is, who is the woman? And who is the girl? But he's not. He's asking about why I'm there in Los Angeles or wherever I am. And what is your what is it what are you doing here? And I said, oh, nothing. I'm just trying to figure out what they wanted me to do, but apparently we just don't have a game plan. So I guess I'm here just waiting for something that I guess they didn't show up. So I have no idea. I guess I'll be leaving. He laughs. He goes, okay. But I can tell that's not really what he was interested in. And, eventually I go back to that place and I find I did find the daughter again. She was crying and trying to explain something to me, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. I couldn't understand it. And her mother, her friend, or older friend, whatever, was gone. And when I took her like formally by the arm to lead her into this little bracket, it was like, a deception. Like, I want to, here we are again. But it wasn't Jesus she wanted. I think she wanted to interrupt my own life. And then later, I came to think that she and Comey were working together. And what they were investigating was me and who am I? And here I am in this situation, a kind of a test, if you will. And there was no resolution, like a beginning, middle, and end. That was pretty much it. And discernment could only take me so far because I'm stuck in time, space, linear thinking. So what does it mean? It means that the US government is very, very interested in Jesus. And this is the real takeaway. Very targetingly so interested in Jesus. Very obsessionally so, targeting in on Jesus. In fact, it is the one obsession that drives the entire other side, Jesus. And that's what the meaning of the dream is. Well, maybe you could have gotten it. I don't know. I would never have had it unless I had the Lord speak to me and show me all the examples in the world of the obsession of elaborate data centers, all tuned in on Jesus, tuned in on TPUSA like a beacon of disease, tuning in on every single person, doing dossiers on every single person at the UVIU whatever event of Charlie Kirk's assassination, taking inventory of every last Jesus person, not doing any of this for anyone else, for any religion, leader, Buddha, Muhammad, Abraham, blah, 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 whatever, but Jesus. And wanting to know the depth, and I know this may sound weird, but the depth of the marriage. It's all about the marriage. And they're just desperate to figure out because they realize, you see, that they already know they don't fight. against flesh and blood. They already know that there is no physical personality, entity, force that threatens them. The only thing that haunts them day and night and day is Jesus. And so when you're hit with, no, it doesn't mean that you go around saying Jesus all the time. You may feel you're a fallen Christian. But see, they know if you belong to God when you don't. Oh, I said the secret. They know, even when you don't, who you are. And the war, even this little kerfuffle, this Civil War bullshit, even this war, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I know that's on people's minds. The other takeaway from the nightmares I've had is we are one person. You and I in Christ, we are one. We are one person. And so they set up their algorithms and their weapons against us as if fighting only one person, David and Goliath, right? They're keyed in on David. They're keyed in on Jesus, wherever Jesus resides as a single entity. There is no need to dive into the personality and the complex levels of PTSD of the main population, because if Jesus is there, then all bets are off. You can't traumatize anymore. You make it more complex. You can't make them more confused or unconscious that they have a choice to make and they don't know it and this and that, because what they know is this, that when the time comes, every single person will make that right choice. That choice of life, the choice to breathe, the choice for the sun, the choice for existence, the choice for consciousness, the choice for knowing the truth, which is not part of the truth, but knowing the cosmic truth. And knowing the cosmic truth sets you free, because once you're set free from fear and anxiety, then that is the end of their reign. That's the end of the story here. There really is no more to it. And since most people are kept in limbo because of fear and anxiety, then they feel they have you. But too many of them, like me walking this woman into the Jesus box, things like that are getting away, where a guy like Comey is wondering, he's now Johnny on the spot, and is he investigating the bank robbery? Is he investigating, World War III? Is he investigating, the lying of the media? No, he's investigating what's going on in that box, in that little enclave. He's terribly interested. So he asks a question about the MacGuffin, I guess you would call it, storytellers, Chris and Alan. What's going on there? And of course, I would say to Comey, you know damn well why you're here. And it's got nothing to do with that. What are you worried about? And built into their delusion is they believe they can win. If they believe it's some kind of a binary population thing. If they get enough people to trade places, to give up, to give their souls up, then they feel they can win. So they very much feel they can win. So they're going to track every single soul that belongs to God or that they suspect. Most of the souls they track have never confessed the name Jesus in public or privately. It's all these different situations. And where did that take place, by the way? In a nightmare, but what dimension? It was a dimension. It was in the fourth dimension. Where was I? In a real place somewhere. What was going on? Something very real in real time. What were they measuring? Well, through this situation, they were measuring the entire earth and all the inhabitants thereof through me in that one instance, which they could do through anybody, anywhere, anytime, because of cell memory and the fact that all are in Christ are one, even those chosen, but simply confused. So they have a formidable enemy, and they thought they were taking it out. By 1969, they thought they had it. They thought they had it, and boy, they were happy. The talk show on Johnny Carson, you had the Sunset Strip, and you had all the bands out of England, and everybody was celebrating that they beat it. The Who wanted you to join together with the band. Come on with us. The Beatles wanted you to join the Magical Mystery Tour. What do you think they're talking about? What do you think they want? And come on, join us. We're the winners. They haven't won anything. They're so paranoid now, they don't know which end is up. They're paranoid of their own shadow. And so they want rigor. You've got to cut your son's penis off. You cut that thing off. If you want to play in Hollywood, cut it off. And whatever other degradation thing, other abomination we can think of. But see, that won't hurt God's plan. They can do their atrocities. And genital mutilation is an atrocity, especially when the parents are not consented to, have not consented to it. So anyway, it's lighter now than it was before. Very important point. It's not the same as it was back then. Back then, the civilization was seriously heading, by about the middle of Ronald Reagan's presidency, there was an inflection point of a nuclear war, and it didn't happen. Or if it did, we were shielded by another dimension. But it could have very well ended everything. Are we in that inflection now? We are in something that would lead to mass annihilation if people continue to disrespect the Lord and his people. And any further disrespect I cannot even imagine, even if I were just the wildest serial killer in the world, I wouldn't go kill a Muslim based on their faith, but they would kill a Christian. And killing Christians by Muslims simply, I guess what it does is it brings what they really want. I can tell you what Islam really wants. The end of the whole thing. They want to reestablish it, a caliphate from the beginning, right? That's based on Islamic law and principle from the very, very beginning. The problem, of course, you're not dealing with even the angel Gabriel. You're not dealing with the celestial God. You're not dealing with principles above and beyond human logic. You're stuck with, the serpent eating its tail, which is a sign all the occultists like, because it represents great power, but it does not represent God power. Nothing does. Nothing does. There is absolutely, and what's the symbol for God and God power? There is none. Oh, people could put a symbol down and say that's what it represents, but they're lying. It does not. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But when I saw just the fact that the FBI guy would just be so squirrely, like, how's it going there with Greg? What are you doing? And we're doing a nostalgia piece about, going to a big garage sale, looking for old VCRs. Oh, that sounds like a wonderful plan. We want to bring back the VHS, bring back the VCRs. Oh, that's it. Bring back the little screens. We like nostalgia. So, again, because we as human beings are incapable of understanding, we must go by faith and not sight, because we're never going to have sight until we're changed. But we must go by faith in God that our shepherd will take us through and be happy with that. And I am very happy with that. So that's why I say, for the people saying you're going to be wiped out in the Civil War, well, you could be, but maybe the time to judge that would be when we're closer to the seeing, if they win a war, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything, because they never won the war. If they win a civil war, did they win? No, they lost. If they win politically in the midterms and it's all socialist, stealing all your property and giving it to the federal government, do you win? Do they win? Do they lose? No, no one wins. People, do they lose? Well, not if everyone turns to faith in Jesus. But I see a clear connection between what happened in the 60s and the fact that people needed to be so cool. They wanted to be so cool. And they wanted to be, everyone wanted to be a rock star and cool and, live in ashrams and, free love and all that stuff. And it just didn't work out, because it never does. And the Bible is saying this is all vanity. Everything they built, well, we're gonna destroy it all. So what? Take your best shot. Go ahead. But don't think you win that way, because the war is not about your concrete building. Okay, the war is not about your bank portfolio. The war is not about your little business on the corner. It's not about the picnic service you run up and down the Rio Grande. It's really none of those things. So you're just like the blind man, Don Quixote, twirling around at the windmills who he sees as demons, striking them, thinking that he's going to solve the problem of evil for Dulcinea, the beautiful queen of everything, who's a lowly waitress, but not in Don Quixote's eyes. So to the world mired in illusion, there is a solution to the whole thing to win. It's called faith. It's also the solution to all of, bloody or sick, financial issues, all that stuff. If you want to go well and find in the finance world, by all means, since that's a very complex world, good that you have a relationship with the Almighty God, who's at the head of every table, every business, every family, everything. And furthermore, as it says, as is written, every knee will bow. So that's the direction the horse is going. That's the way that Jesus is going. Every knee will bow. That's the answer. That is the outcome. That's the outcome. So my advice would be to get about that business, and I will too, because I'm sick of these nightmares. But I think God wanted me to share that with you, just to show you that see, now if there's follow-up gang stalking, then you know and I know it started from a supernatural point. It began in the spirit, in the nightmare. And I'll see you next time.
Beginning of time, putting it all